Good afternoon and welcome to the massive Grand Park Sports Campus in Westfield, Indiana for this Universe Point Productions broadcast of today's AUDL Midwest Division matchup between the Indianapolis AlleyCats and the visiting Chicago Wildfire. I'm Bird Phillips, and with me in the booth tonight is AlleyCats alum Alex Hutton. Alex, the last time you and I worked together was last season, and we witnessed an AlleyCats team that was struggling to find victories in an improved Midwest Division. Fast forward 1 year now, however, and the fortunes for this team have completely changed as they come into this game with a sparkling 6-1 record. What's been the difference for the AlleyCats in 2018, in your opinion?
Well, first off, Bird, I'm really excited to be back with you. I know you and I work really well together on these broadcasts, so I'm looking forward to that. I talked to Coach Eric Leonard prior to this game, and a few of the things that he shared with me is that, one, last year, they easily could have changed their record to something like 8-6. We know that over the course of the last few years, the AlleyCats have had a lot of close, heartbreaking losses. And so one of the things that they've stressed just in practice and really all across the team this whole year has been accountability, hitting the gym, being at all practices. I know so far they went so far as to say in the summer league that I play in Indianapolis, a lot of the AlleyCat players are not participating in that because they've got extra practices on those nights, and they want them just really dialed in and focused solely on the AlleyCats program. And so he said to me they didn't want to look back and think what might have been after this year.
Yeah.
You know, he did also say that they have the tougher half of the schedule coming up, and so they're really focused on, again, just buying in and proving that, you know, they're worthy of that top spot in the division, and that, you know, they know the teams that they need to beat, and Chicago is certainly going to be one of them.
Right. And one of the things we saw last year in the games that we covered together was they had a really hard time finishing.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see, you know, the sort of physicality that they have really stressed throughout this season, and just kind of see how that plays out in things like the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, and they played this team, the Chicago Wildfire, exactly 1 month ago, I believe, and they beat them in Chicago. But the Wildfire today have one of the best players in the league, Kurt Gibson, who's going to be playing, and he did not play last month. So how's that going to make a difference?
Well, I asked him specifically about that because, you know, you really see it in all sports in terms of focusing on key matchups. You know, they know that the Wildfire have Kurt Gibson, you know, a player like Pavel Giannis, who certainly touches the disc a lot, and a player like Ross Barker that, you know, he also talked about being someone that is sort of a downfield threat. And so I think those three, you know, I'm sort of predicting that, you know, we might be calling those three names a lot, but he wouldn't really stress anything specific that they have been doing in practice, but he assured me that they are definitely more prepared for them this weekend and that it should be an exciting game.
Yeah, and the AlleyCats this year, I'd say that Rick Rose, who we've always said that he's a great player, but he's really come into his own this year and turned into what I think is a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly one of those things where you look at the stats right now in terms of plus-minus, goals, blocks, and he is up there in really all of those categories. And so I think that's going to be one of those things where I'm really excited to see just him make plays on both the offensive and defensive side of the field.
And talk about making plays. That's something that's probably going to happen a lot in this building. You see on the screen we are indoors,
yes,
which means we have perfect weather, no wind, and that bodes well for the offense for both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly played both indoors and outdoors, certainly not to a level like this, but I think one of the things that I'm sort of interested in seeing the most is how it impacts the throws, because, you know, there's really no wind to either really have obviously much of effect on it, and so your throws are just going to be very fast, and they're just going to go exactly where you throw them. The wind obviously can't have an effect on it, and
right.
I think it's going to be one of those things where you might see some instances where a player maybe normally would have, you know, adjusted for the wind, and they didn't in here, and it might be just a throw that either just comes out too fast, and it's going to be really interesting to see sort of how both teams are going to be able to lead players in terms of, you know, again, obviously you throw it fast and it's not going to slow down at all.
And we saw the first pull there from the Wildfire, and Keenan Plew has it to Rick Gross. Gross gets it back to Plew and back. They shuffle it again to Gross here on the near side. I'm sorry, that's Keenan. Gross gets it to the far side to Jacobs. AlleyCats with solid patience here to start this first point. And Brock gets one underneath. That is North. That's Keegan North, new to the AlleyCats team this year from near the Cincinnati area. He's got it again, gets it over to Keenan Plew on the near side. Plew, about 15 yards, has Keegan North in the end zone for that first score, and that was textbook. That's how you want to do it for that first point.
Well, yeah, I think we already saw just the AlleyCats being very patient there, completing a lot of throws, and I'm really excited to see North and how he sort of works into the AlleyCats offense. I mean, he has a lot of experience, and having played for the USA national team before, and so I'm really excited again to see how he's going to be worked into the mix there. And of course, you see Rick Gross handling a lot there, and that's something that I think is the first time I've seen that for the AlleyCats.
Right.
And I mean, again, just sometimes you put the disc in the hands of your best players and those you trust the most to make the smart decisions. And right there, you just saw the AlleyCats being very patient, working up the field.
Yeah, you see some guys working themselves into new roles this year from what we've seen in the past, and they make that one look textbook. The AlleyCats now up 1-0. That point took just over a minute. Here's the pull from Nick Hutton.
I think you're going to see pulls obviously going deep in the end zone both ways here, so that's something that defense is going to have to hurry and get set up downfield.
Yeah, teams are going to be covering the entire field. There's the forehand from Giannis, and he's got a man quickly in the end zone. That's number 25, Ross Barker for the Wildfire.
And that's something that I also talked to Coach Leonard before the game, and he said that Barker was someone that hurt them last game and something they were going to try to focus on. But, I mean, you see there just so much open space. And, again, that's just, I mean, to me, a very good throw, especially indoors. Just floated it right to him.
Yeah, and Pavel Giannis, number 55 for the Wildfire, is a guy who has very quick reads on the downfield action. You saw that time he had that forehand out in no time at all.
Yes, Giannis to Barker might be something we will be saying quite a bit today.
So the score now tied 1-all. I'm going to see another pull, and this one, is it going to make it to the end zone? Not quite. Keenan picks it up. And that's Samson sending it to the near side. Jacobs got that backhand out, and Carpenter's got a beat on it, and just not enough height on that jump. It's knocked away by the Wildfire. And they're going to have a quick break point, or a quick break opportunity. And this is going to be Max Trotter who picks it up, brings it to the goal line. Sends it back to Zukowski. And deep in his own end zone, Trotter looking for a man. And we have a whistle. Not sure what the call here is.
I think I heard a pick call downfield. So that's going to put the Wildfire in a very interesting position.
Yeah. I'm not sure I've seen this before. All the way in the back of his end zone. We'll see if he can get that out. He's got Samson on him. Zukowski now looking for that forehand. Zukowski with it again.
Yeah, you saw Plew run over there, try to set a double team there, try to trap him on the sideline, but the Wildfire did a great job of just getting it out of there quickly.
Jeremy Burrell now has to send it back again. And it's knocked away, and that's Carpenter. And we got a whistle on that. Looks like we had a strip called on Carpenter.
Yeah, I think you could tell he had possession of it, and that's when Carpenter had knocked it away.
Yeah. So now the Wildfire here on the near side. That's Jack Shea. Has to dump it back. Newman now sends it forward again. There's the forehand down the field.
See if Gross can get up and get it. Got pretty good positioning there.
Easily knocks that one away. Great play by him.
Yeah, one of the things you like to say a lot when you're someone downfield is the first thing to focus on is body positioning, and he just kind of put him in a bad position. He was able to get up and knock it away easily.
And this is Brock, and he's got it. He's right on the goal line. He's got a man. There's Keegan North, and he gets his second score of the game.
Yes.
And the AlleyCats.
Sorry, go ahead.
The AlleyCats right back real quick with that to take the lead 2-1.
Yeah, just good body positioning there by both Gross and Brock. You saw Cam Brock there. You can see him. He's just he starts slowing down. Maybe doesn't need to too much. He's in great position there. It was a great throw, and then just floats it up there, and AlleyCats get another score. That
was excellent recognition to get the disc down to Brock after that turnover. The AlleyCats scoring quickly that time, and the Wildfire plenty of patience on that point, but then threw that one down to the end zone, and maybe an ill-advised throw.
Well, and maybe it was something that, when he first went to look for it, the Wildfire player there had maybe a little bit of space, but you saw Rick Gross there. He made that up very quickly.
And I think that's what the D-lines are going to have to do in this indoors scenario. They're going to have to make the teams just try and make them take chances like that, and that worked out for the AlleyCats that time. So now the Wildfire back the other way. This is Pavel Giannis. Gets it to Jeff Wise. Giannis again with the backhand. They get it to the near side, moving it down the field. This is Miller. Miller wants that forehand, has to send it back. Giannis looking. He's got no one. This is Wise. Good defense on him. He slips and falls, and it's down. I don't know if they're going to call that. Looks like they didn't. He's thinking they should have.
Looks like some of the players were maybe waiting for a call.
Yeah, Wise not too happy about that. No call comes, so the AlleyCats back the other way. Here's Schwartz back to Winger. Winger now with the backhand. Craven has that forehand across. Great catch there by Zebarth on the run. Here's Winger. Oh, he wanted that forehand. Now he goes to the hammer, and there's Schwartz in the end zone for the score. Great recognition by Winger on that.
Yeah, he's definitely someone who has those looks, and he gets a little bit of space, and I think he's definitely going to put those up. You can see him wanting it there, just sort of waiting for the right look, and you have that much space, and again, not much wind to really affect those hammers, and I think that's definitely a throw that you can really see anybody out there making today.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot more of those today than you normally would, I would think. So that gives the AlleyCats their first break of the game, and they have a 3-1 lead now with 6:33 to go here in the first.
Another thing I sort of heard on the broadcast really with that point was something as interesting as in a facility like this, you can really hear sometimes how much really chatter there is on the sidelines with ultimate teams is players really just constantly talking about looks and where people need to be and positioning themselves on the field, and that's something that a lot of times you see those highly competitive teams, they're really talkative on those sidelines.
Yeah, that's something you're going to get in this broadcast today that you normally wouldn't hear from us with the field mics. You're going to hear the teams and the calls that they're making, and that should be really interesting. Now the Wildfire back the other way. This is Kurt Gibson, the legendary Kurt Gibson. And Giannis into the end zone.
Wow.
He's got Trotter, I believe. And they come right back the other way. Cut that lead back to 1.
Definitely a pretty good throw there. I was thinking, maybe triplets there to make position. And, you really just see him just put it really where he wants to. And AlleyCats really just don't have a play on it when it seemed like maybe there might have been.
Yeah, and that was a solid cut by Trotter to come across there into the corner and get that. So that's Giannis's second assist of the game now, and Trotter's first goal. We're going to see the pull now. And it's a good one. Like you said, they're all going to be good ones today. Here's Plew. Gets one up over the top. Had that double team. Back to Sohn, back to Plew again. Looks like Chicago's running a zone this time. They get it to the very casual Rick Gross. The AlleyCats not in a hurry on this point.
I think we need a completion counter for some of these zone points. That'd be kind of interesting to see.
And there's Jacobs. Gets it to midfield. He's got Carpenter across the field now to North. Now far side, and that's Cameron Brock. Centers it. They send it to Carpenter. There's
great look there.
Plew. Yeah, it was a great find right in the middle of the field. Carpenter now, he's got a man in the end zone. He doesn't want him.
I mean, just sometimes you got to be smart. You know, you see him almost look there for Jacobs, but just wait for a better look than the one you see right there.
Yep, and that was the better look. And that was North to Rick Gross in the end zone.
I'm going to be very interested to see how the zone could work for either of these teams. You saw the AlleyCats there just being very patient. Carpenter does a great job of just making the smart decision, and you just really wait for those open lanes. You keep swinging the disc back and forth, and complete it 100 times if you need to, and then you just, once you see the defense shift, and a lot of times sometimes they might be called like poppers downfield. A lot of times the offense doesn't even really need to move, because if the defense is moving, and sometimes as they move, you might then become open and you just stay in that spot. And then that's why you just keep swinging the disc, and then eventually those poppers in sort of the middle of the field there, so to speak, will be open.
The AlleyCats looking very comfortable against that first look at the zone. You can see the AlleyCats in those new gray jerseys. They just got those tonight. They did not even know that they existed before they went into the locker room before the game started. And there's a great throw. And that is Pavel Giannis, who catches that on the line. Now he's facing the double team. He has to dump it back, and it's knocked away. The AlleyCats with excellent defense that time. No whistle. Now Schwartz is going to look back the other way. Oh, I thought he was going to get that backhand. Here's Zebar, sends it to the far side. And that's Winger. He's looking across the field. Has to dump it back over the top, and that's dangerous, and that's knocked away by, I think that was Jeff Wise. So the AlleyCats miss a break opportunity.
After what was Giannis really directing the field there.
He's going to slow things down. Here's Gibson. Barker back to Gibson on the near side. Here's Barker, has that forehand to Gibson in the corner. Perfect throw.
Wow, great throw.
That was a great cut from Gibson. He'd gone to the middle and then broke back to the outside. And gets his first goal of the game.
Yeah, so far those three players I think was mentioned a lot of times in the pregame discussion. Gibson making a lot of plays, Barker and Giannis really being the three that are really difficult to stop there.
Yeah, Barker gets his first assist of the game to go with one goal. And that's the first goal we've seen from Gibson. And this is only the second game that he's played with the Wildfire. I think the last game that they played was his first game. So still kind of getting a feel for this team, I think. And I have a bad feeling we're going to call his name quite a bit tonight.
That certainly is a very high possibility, yes.
So here's a high pull coming down to Brock. Samson centers it. Sends it over to Plew.
You saw there kind of a set play run by the AlleyCats. Brock had caught the pull and then just sort of waited to time it, and then eventually took off downfield. But the Wildfire were in pretty good position to defend it there.
Jacobs could not get it to Carpenter. There was a whistle, but Carpenter waved it away. He knew that he wasn't going to get that. That disc is tipped, and the Wildfire still come up with it. That was a good effort from Samson, I believe. We have another whistle on the field.
Timeout here.
And this is a timeout by the Chicago Wildfire. I believe they're going to get their offense on the field. We have 2:33 to go here in the first. AlleyCats up 4-3. One thing is consistent. Things change. When they do, your insurance should too. An Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent can review your current policy and check to see if you're paying too much or covered too little. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood.
Wildfire really not wasting much time in that timeout, really knowing what they want, getting their offense back here on the field, really not wanting to let an opportunity like this slip. But you also see, of course, as usually what happens in these timeouts, is the AlleyCats now going with a full substitution for a defensive line.
Yeah, the AlleyCats with a couple of missed opportunities so far. They had that one break opportunity where they got that great defensive play on the goal line and could not turn that around. Yeah, that's right, indoors. There's not going to be a lot of opportunities like that. There's going to be few defensive break chances, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, just sometimes one or two throws can make the difference now, and I think that's, again, why the Wildfire are calling timeout, really wanting to capitalize and tie the score.
So this point could potentially tie the game. Here, still early. This is Gibson. He's got Giannis. Sends it back. And back to Gibson. It's being checked by Peter Carlton. Pavel sends it to the near side now.
You saw some pretty good communication there, but again, it kind of a late recovery, and then that kind of ends up costing the AlleyCats there. They had done a switch there with Gibson, and then as Gibson leaves, maybe there wasn't enough communication there, and he was able to just kind of leak himself out into the backfield, and really then just you can see there Cox trying to point for help, and then they're able to just get a break there and tie it up.
That was another great find by Ross Barker, and we have the second connection between him and Gibson in a row. And that ties the game. Chicago now 4, Indianapolis AlleyCats 4 as well, with 1:46 to go. And here's a high pull. Looks like that's going to squeak back into the field. Plu wrangling that one, sends it back to zone.
Looks like a little bit more of a zone look again.
Here's North.
Really trying to crowd the disc a little bit, but it's really leaving, again, a lot of that free space over there on the opposite side of the field.
Yeah, North with that gorgeous hammer over the top again.
AlleyCats able to get 4 or 5 really quick completions there. Just keep moving the disc.
This is Carpenter.
Always good for the stat sheet, right? Touch the disc a lot.
That's
just
right.
Keep throwing it back and forth. Oh, very good leading him there. Very good directing it by Carpenter.
AlleyCats inching down the field.
Very open swing there.
It's back to Plu. Plu
very good find.
Shoots one over the top, and there he is.
It was very excellent offense, I think, there. That was really great. AlleyCats took all the looks that were given to them, and again, a lot of completions, but able to get a score.
That was North with the assist. I'm not sure who got that goal. That was Samson. Not going to say that too many times. Great to see him get in the end zone. Again, Keegan with the assist. I believe that is his second. He's got 2 assists and 2 goals so far, so he's making an impact in this game.
Well, you get someone like that, and that I think was obviously maybe the biggest change, where there wasn't a whole lot of change in roster for AlleyCats. You have people like Robert Craven and Peter Carlton, who were players on the AlleyCats a few years ago that are back now, and so really not so much in terms of changes, but you add someone like North, who has a high-level experience like he has, and that's someone obviously you just welcome into the fold and just learn as much as you can from.
Yeah, he seems very comfortable with his teammates for a guy who's in his first season.
Well, I think that's something that goes back to really the chemistry that the AlleyCats have built since they were founded. You have players that have been with them the whole time, and you have players that have been playing with them for about 3-4 plus years now.
Yeah, obviously Plu and Cameron Brock being the main two.
We'll see if the Wildfire are able to kind of hold it down until the last second and shoot it into the end zone.
Under 10 seconds now. They're going to have to put a move on this. Here's Gibson.
Oh.
He sends it back. They're going to run out of time, and they do.
Man.
And that will not count. No. And that was not great recognition by the Wildfire on that play.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure you had some people down there on the Wildfire sideline yelling it out. I'm not sure if maybe they just couldn't hear on the opposite side of the field, but you had it with about 3-4 seconds left, and he kind of looked upfield, but then he turns to dump the disc back, and at that point it was like, it was going to be end of the quarter.
So the AlleyCats escape on that play, and they take a lead into the end of the first, 5-4. We'll take a quick break. You are watching the Chicago Wildfire versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is also brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear guaranteed. BE Ultimate. Ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate. The most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. And of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats.
My first few years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
So we're back with you now here heading into the second quarter. AlleyCats up 5-4 over the Chicago Wildfire. And I'm not sure who's going to have the pull. I believe the AlleyCats going to be pulling to the Wildfire to start this second quarter.
Yes, that might have been one of the main differences there in terms of why the AlleyCats have a 1-point lead. I think that what you're seeing right now is really there was a point the AlleyCats up 2, and then you just kind of have one or two throws that kind of go awry, and it allows the Wildfire to really get back in it. And I think that just what I'm seeing, I think it'll be interesting. Obviously a very sort of even first quarter, maybe about a couple turnovers for each team. And so this may or may not come down to simply who has the disc last.
Yeah, we talked about Kurt Gibson in the opener, whether or not he was going to have an impact on this game over the game that the AlleyCats played against the Wildfire last month, and obviously he already has. He's got 2 goals, both from assists from Ross Barker, who also has 1 goal himself. So those guys really setting the stage for the Wildfire. And these teams look very evenly matched so far in this game.
Great look there from Giannis down to Barker, I believe that is.
Barker gets it to Wise. Wise back to Giannis. Johansson right on the line. Has to send one to Gibson. Gibson lays out for it at midfield just to get that dump. I don't know how that feels on this AstroTurf. Probably not too great.
Oh, I've definitely had a few major burns for myself playing on a field like this. Certainly. So that's something that could be interesting.
Here's Barker up over the top again to Gibson. So that's 3 in a row for them, Barker to Gibson. And that ties the game at 5-all.
One of those things right now where Barker, Giannis, and Gibson, really the 3 players making a big difference right now.
You see on this replay, Gibson, again, sneaking behind the defense.
But maybe more than anything else you saw in that, he fakes one throw, fakes a second throw, and then takes the third option. And so one of those things where I think that one of the things you can think about there is just very good field awareness. Takes one look, fake no, another look no, and then he takes the third one.
That's another thing. I don't know if we would have seen that throw outdoors, that hammer over the top from midfield, but he made it look good indoors, that's for sure. So here's the pull now. AlleyCats going to bring it back from right to left. This is going to be Plew with it in the center. He's looking here to the near side. He's got Carpenter. And Gross looking downfield. He's got Brock. Brock with the backhand. He's got Carpenter out there. He's got him. Perfect throw from Brock. Great anticipation.
Really great throw.
Carpenter gets his first goal of the game, and Brock with his first assist, and it's a good one. I'm sorry, that's Brock's second assist.
Well, you can see there, Carpenter just never stops really running, and just wide open look. Great throw.
Yep, perfect. Carpenter able to ease into that one, and the AlleyCats now up 6-5. Trying to maintain that 1-point lead. We talked about the scoring at the beginning of this game and whether it was going to be a high-scoring game. 6-5 here with 10:46 to go in the second. Not really.
Maybe it's just the thing to think about is really just teams being patient. There are not a lot of points where it's you get 1 or 2 throws and then boom, a huck downfield. I remember the Wildfire had 1 point like that in the first quarter, but that maybe is the only time where that has happened.
That pull uncharacteristically goes out of bounds just before the goal line. That was Robbie Craven with that pull, and the Wildfire are going to bring that to the brick. This is going to be Giannis setting it up. He's got Zebarth on him. And here comes the double team from Jones. He gets it over the top. There's Miller with the forehand, and that's Barker.
Wow. Again, just very good positioning.
Yeah, Barker getting a little bit of a push there, using his body to make sure the defender unable to get to that. I believe that was Schwartz.
I think that's something that, it's certainly very fair. Like you saw him obviously kind of slow down. He gets that positioning. And
yeah, it's a little bit of an elbow.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely something where it's very kind of common contact and something where, unless he's, really just, pushing away to, unless Schwartz really goes to the ground there. I think that's something that is sort of very fair contact that you see a lot. He just really kind of slows down and gets the positioning, and that's very good in terms of getting himself in a position to score.
Yep, great recognition from him. That ties the game at 6-all. So now Sohn back the other way. He's got a defender right in his face. And there's a dive for a Plew, sends it forward. Brock's got a man on the near side.
Well, definitely something that once he kind of left his feet, it left a space there. And, again, just great throw.
The AlleyCats all over that. Rick Gross taking that opportunity. Gross sends it into the end zone with the backhand for Levi Jacobs.
Well, again, you see here just, they were able to work it very quickly. And you see a couple steps, and it's hard not to really take that look, especially when Jacobs is, again, the only AlleyCat player and really one of 2 players you saw on that side of the field. So a very easy look, I think, to take.
Yep. And he puts it right out there where there was no way the Wildfire player could contest that. And Jacobs gets an easy score. That's his first goal of the game to go with Gross's first assist of the game.
Well, something that we just kind of talked about now. I think we've had maybe, 3 points scored here in the last about minute and a half or so.
Yeah, as soon as I say that, then they're off and running, right? And that's to be expected. I think as the D lines wear down a little bit, we're going to see a little bit more scoring. Here's Gibson. Sends it to the far side. Gets it back. It's a great play from Hutton. And that is what he is known for. Lays out, knocks that away, and the AlleyCats with an opportunity to take a 2-point lead now.
And I really couldn't tell if he got any sort of contact on that disc. I couldn't tell. But it definitely was something where he made, obviously, he had an impact on the play, put a lot of pressure on the receiver.
He is the human highlight. We saw that several times last year. You're going to see this replay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously from this angle, very tough to see if he gets. I think it just was one of those things where the receiver just kind of felt the pressure and it just kind of went off his hands, I think. But definitely something where I don't know if they give him a D on the stat sheet for that or a block, but I definitely something that I would give him one, but I'm not in charge of the stats, so I can't really say 100%. Yeah, we'll unofficially give him a block for that one. And I think he's, right now in terms of overall in the league, I think he's maybe about 4th or 5th, I think, in the AUDL. He's 3rd, actually, right now. He tied for 3rd in blocks in AUDL right now.
Our man Heath Shanahan, our producer here in the booth, setting up those replays. Thanks to him, as always. Running a tight ship.
Now the AlleyCats utilizing a timeout, trying to go up and pad that lead there, take that 2-point lead back.
And this is Plew. Has to dump it back. Hasson now at midfield, gets it to North. North puts one out, making Jacobs go get that. Now North, a little bit of trouble. Finds Carpenter over the top. Carpenter.
Oh. Man, I think it was there at first, but I don't know. Very good job by the Wildfire to kind of close that space there. Number 12, I think that was Burrell who had got the block there.
That was a good defensive set by the Wildfire, and they send it back the other way, though.
Again, that's something where, again, it's hard to kind of get enough float on that to really allow him to run into it. And
that was Jason Valley for the Wildfire, unable to come up with that.
Uncharacteristically trading the disc back and forth here. Let's see who can capitalize. This maybe seems like the first really, really big point of the game.
The AlleyCats need to be patient here. There's a little bit of an edge in the air right now. They have to take their time. They have 8:37 to go here in the second. Now they get it to Brock. Now North again with it. And Sohn facing a double team has to dump it back with the left hand.
Wow, very good look.
Just
quickly out of the double team. Great throw.
Here's Carpenter back to North.
North touching the disc a lot, it seems, on this point.
The AlleyCats really grinding this one out. Now North sends it back again, and that is a missed throw.
Wow.
Carpenter unable to go get that one.
Just, again, another throw that, maybe indoors you're just not thinking too much about it and just kind of starts floating away. It looked at first it was an easy catch, but just kind of very quickly got away from Carpenter.
So we have 3 turnovers in a row by these teams. Now the Wildfire looking to come back and score and tie this game up again. And there.
Oh, wow.
Again, not a great throw.
Samson was definitely in great position there to make the D. I think it was a very interesting look there for the Wildfire.
Yeah, 2 AlleyCats right on the disc that time. These guys are going to be getting tired. 4 turnovers now.
Definitely the point of the half so far. I mean, there's been about as many turnovers here. Let's see. Brock can get up and make the play.
And he does. Cameron Brock putting an end to that. And that seemed to me like North was just getting a little impatient, wanted to put it out there, and he puts it out there to the AUDL goals leader, the guy who goes up and gets that.
I mean, you see him. He doesn't have the position, but very quickly just gets around and makes himself in perfect position. You saw when that went up. I mean, he's very quickly behind the guy. The Wildfire player definitely had great position there, and he just sort of speeds around him, gets in great position, and goes up and make it. We maybe shouldn't be surprised, as you said. He's got more goals in AUDL history than anybody. So, in a point like that, very critical. It took a couple minutes off the clock. About as many turnovers in that point as there was the whole rest of the game up to that point combined. And, obviously, very critical score there for the AlleyCats.
And that was just vintage Cameron Brock. His ability to time that disc and go up and grab that. We've seen that so many times. And he gives the AlleyCats a 2-point lead, and that seems like a critical 2-point lead the way this game is going right now. That was just over 3 minutes on that point. Now the Wildfire looking to come back the other way. There's Pavel. Oh, he's got a man,
out in front.
It cuts into the ground.
Yeah. That's just, again, there's no wind to keep that throw up in the air.
Yep.
And it just, went right where it was supposed to go and right into the ground. And AlleyCats now with a chance to take a 3-goal lead.
And from our angle up here in the booth, you could just see that thing die right into the ground. And Barker had no chance. Now the AlleyCats looking for that break.
Oh, massive throw here.
And he's coming. We saw a bump there from Wise. And up over the top.
Oh, wow.
And the AlleyCats blowing an opportunity there. Miller puts it on the ground. So now the AlleyCats saved. That was a gift. Another gift from the Wildfire. And things are getting crazy here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. And there's a score. Wow.
Right back the other way. That was Connor Henderson. He finds Schwartz in the end zone. The AlleyCats rightfully pumped about that one. And they go up 9-6 now. We see this replay.
Just waits and then times it, and right there.
That was great recognition by Schwartz on the timing there. Now the Wildfire with the timeout, and these guys have got to be gassed after those points.
Yeah, definitely a very good catch there by Craven. And then just a couple, again, I think these last few points, just sometimes you got to take a deep breath and reset maybe. Just a few very uncharacteristic mistakes there from the Wildfire, and now has led to a 3-goal lead for the AlleyCats.
Yeah, we saw that first quarter, both of these teams being very patient, grinding it out, a lot of throws. Now we're starting to see them take a little bit more chances. I think as they start to wear down after those points, you see those long throws and some crazy stuff happening.
Yeah, again, definitely what you were talking about, the potential for, some big plays and really a lot of battles in the air. And I think maybe that's, again, something that, might be sort of a key difference here for the AlleyCats. I think they've kind of won more battles in the air than they've lost today.
So we're in this timeout now, Chicago Wildfire, and it's interesting. That was Kurt Gibson who was doing the talking for the Wildfire during that timeout, the veteran. He's new to this team, but he is obviously not new to the sport. If you don't know about Kurt Gibson, look him up, because he is an amazing player, and he clearly has taken over this team. The AlleyCats going to pull here. I believe that's Hutton with the disc.
Yep.
I was going to say you could tell by he's got the backwards hat. The classic Nick Hutton style. He's going to pull from the near side. 5:55 to go here in the second. AlleyCats up by 3. And that seems huge right now here. Early in the game still, but after those points that we just saw, for them to come away with the 3-point lead, that could be critical. Now Gibson swings it to the far side. Here's Barker with it. He has been handling a lot tonight. They get it to the middle of the field. There's Gibson on the other end.
Ooh,
and he snatches that for the score, puts it into the wall. That is his third goal of the game. And he's been putting in some work tonight. I'm sorry, that's his fourth goal of the game.
You're thinking there, like he's gonna have to tow it there, because there's that wall's not too far from that.
It's really not, yeah.
Not too far from the back of the end zone there.
Yeah, they have the pads on those posts, but there's no padding on that back wall, so
right.
Looks like you might go right through that thing. So Gibson with his fourth goal of the game. I didn't see who that assist was from, but it was a good throw. And that cuts the lead to 2 for the Wildfire. That was Nick Meyer with the assist, number 44 for the Wildfire. This disc coming down to Plew. The Wildfire getting set quickly on defense after that pull. The AlleyCats with a lot of work to do. Here's North. Gets that backhand to Brock.
One of the things I've seen from North all day is he's doing a great job on just taking all of the best looks. He's not necessarily throwing it down all the way downfield like for a huck, but he's taking just a lot of smart looks, hitting all of his receivers.
The young guy, he's very relaxed on the field. And there's a great throw from Plew to Gross in the end zone. And that will give the AlleyCats their 3-point lead back. Yeah, we've seen a lot of North today. And like I said, he's just very, very relaxed. Made that one throw that Carpenter was unable to get. But otherwise, he's been directing traffic really well tonight. That is Rick Gross's second goal of the game to go with 1 assist, and that was Plew's second assist. The AlleyCats starting to put up those numbers that we've seen from those guys in the past. Now we're going to see the D-line come out, and this is going to be Carpenter with the disc on the pole, so he's a guy that traditionally has gone both ways.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite how many D points he's had today. It looks like O is something they're certainly utilizing him a lot on. And so we'll see, if he's maybe one of those guys that can make a play if they're throwing it downfield. As you see here, going to take a smart look away and throwing it across the field.
Meyer gets it to Gibson on the far side. Now to Barker at midfield. Barker dumps it back to Gibson. Sends it across. I thought Winger was going to have a play on that. Now Barker now on the near side. Something we see a lot from Gibson. He's handling the disc in the backfield, and then the next thing you know, he's scoring. And there's a great throw from Miller. He finds Barker in the end zone. And the Wildfire now with 8 points, cutting it back to 2. With 4:15 to go here in the second. You see that replay, Meyer getting it to Miller, and Miller with a sharp forehand.
Yeah, just sets up that cut very well, and a lot of times it's hard as a defender to sort of, think through what the offensive player is going to do. Obviously, we talk about, offensive player having, the advantage, and definitely something to where, just set up that cut very well, and obviously, keeping your eyes downfield, the Wildfire were able to take advantage of that.
Good point by the Wildfire in cutting that lead back to 2. Here's a high short pull, and that's going to come down.
That's very interesting. I don't know if I've seen that happen very much. I think that just kind of play it from there.
Yeah, Plew wasn't sure what to do about that.
I'm not really
back at the referee.
I guess it was going to land about in that spot. I don't know if I've ever really seen that happen. That's.
Now Gross gets it back to Samson. I have to say, AlleyCats looking sharp in those new dark gray uniforms.
I'm digging it. Boone Ultimate, apparently, the one making those. They make the league jerseys, and so that's again, I'm a big fan of the Naptown jerseys.
Now on the far side zone, he's looking for Carpenter. Carpenter has to dump it back. I'm sorry, that's Gross. AlleyCats working it backwards here. Carpenter gets a bump. That was at an opportune time. It looked like he was struggling to get that dump. Steps it forward 10 yards. There's North with the forehand. He's got Brock. Brock in the end zone with the score. Great throw from North.
He really didn't hesitate on that one. You could tell just, again, using the indoor facility here, just really zips it up and just really does not hesitate and is able to place it right on the sideline there where Brock really is the only one that can make a play.
Yeah, that was a perfect throw. I did not even see that cut coming from Brock. And that is Keegan North's 4th assist of the game to go with 2 goals. And he is really working the disc well tonight. As we said, he's a guy who does not live in the area. He comes up from Cincinnati for all the practices and the games. And the AlleyCats obviously happy to have him tonight.
Definitely making a very huge impact on the game right now for the AlleyCats.
Here's Meyer taking it in the end zone.
See Giannis coming out of the cutting stack there initially there. It's a different look from the Wildfire. But he kind of settles himself into really more of maybe a handler position.
Meyer wanting that backhand. We have a whistle.
Looks like a travel there they're calling, so they're backing up the Wildfire. Okay, and that's something that I thought our producer, again, Heath Shanahan, doing a great job feeding us the info. That used to be a turnover, but now it's just a 10-yard penalty. But a little bit of a miscommunication there, and the Wildfire able to take advantage right now in front of the end zone.
Yeah,
Giannis again with the disc.
That whistle ends up benefiting the Wildfire as they catch the AlleyCats sleeping on that play and put one in the end zone. And that's Meyer with the disc and the score. So not a good look from the AlleyCats D on that play. I think a little bit of confusion about what was going to happen.
Really, yeah, you did not see Giannis take much of a look over there, but he's able to find able to get the assist there. And again, Wildfire just right now after that few-minute stretch there where we just had some crazy turnovers going both ways. Both teams trading points now, going back and forth.
I believe that is Giannis's 4th assist of the game. Now the AlleyCats bringing it back from right to left. Samson sends it to the far side to Rick Rose, forward to Brock quickly. Brock having to dump it back to Carpenter, who sends it here to the near side. That's North again. Now Levi Jacobs back to Carpenter. Back to Jacobs right on the line. Jacobs steps back in. He had possession before he went out of bounds. Does not have an opportunity to find someone in the end zone, has to dump it.
No, almost a stall there. Just got rid of it the last second, I'm guessing.
Yeah, North having to dump that one to Brock, who makes the long run to the far side. And there's Rick Gross, and he's got no one. And he gets it back for the score. That was Carpenter.
Oh, no hesitation there.
With the assist, great find. Rick Gross, good recognition on that play. Gets his 3rd goal of the game.
Again, I think just being on the same page there, Gross and Carpenter really knowing what both were going to do. I think that was really led to that goal there for the AlleyCats.
Yeah, Carpenter with his second assist of the game. So we hear our PA announcer talking about how Rick Gross is about to join. Did he say 1 assist away?
I think so. 1 assist away, I think, from joining the 100 goals, assists, and blocks club.
Along with Goose and Carpenter for sure with the
Goose out
AlleyCats.
there with the Raleigh Flyers, that is.
Former AlleyCat. Here's Gibson to the far side. We'll have our stats crew get on that here in a few minutes. Now Barker here on the near side. Schwartz on D. He's got Giannis. Sends it to Myrie. I believe I've been saying his name wrong, which is nothing unusual for me. Try and get that right from now on. And there's Barker in the end zone. Goes up and gets that with the left hand. And the AlleyCats have their lead cut to 2 again. 12-10 here with 28 seconds to go in the first half. See the replay there. Barker with a great play on that disc. Gets his 3rd goal of the game to go with 3 assists. That was Simon Johansson with the assist. Number 30 for the Chicago Wildfire.
Let's see, 28 seconds. I mean, let's see if this is something to where the AlleyCats, again, try to time it to where they score last, or if they just, if they have a look and they take it. We'll see how much time is left on the clock after this point.
The pull from the Wildfire comes down to Plew. And there's the double team, looks like. The AlleyCats have 18 seconds to put this one in the end zone. Brock gets one to Gross there in the corner. He sneaks one under.
Oh.
Carpenter unable to come up with that. There's the turnover.
He's got to put it up.
He's got a man. And Plew
does a great job of positioning himself.
Able to run that down, takes a shove in the back, and that is the end of the second quarter. Into the first half here. Indianapolis AlleyCats up 12-10 over the Chicago Wildfire, and that was a solid first half. A lot of action there. A lot more turnovers, I think, than we were expecting. What was the key to that first half, in your opinion, Alex?
Well, I think obviously you saw that stretch there where there was some turnovers kind of going back and forth, and the AlleyCats had sort of taken advantage of both those points. But I made a note to myself, there's about 5 minutes and 34 seconds left in the half, and at that point the AlleyCats were up 2. And they did not give up a break the rest of the half, meaning basically they're just trading points back and forth. Now, you obviously saw there no one scored on that last point, but at that point when there was 5:34 left, the AlleyCats scored to go up 3, and then they just keep trading back and forth.
Right.
And so I think that, again, sometimes, you can't overcomplicate it. Sometimes it's just as simple as if you have the disc and you keep the disc and you score, when you're up, you're going to win. And when there were a few points there, they were kind of long and several turnovers, and the AlleyCats took advantage, and at the end of that, they were up 2. They then went the rest of the half without giving up a break, and now obviously you see 12-10, and they're still up 2.
So up 2 in this game feels like a pretty good score for the AlleyCats. They're going to go into halftime and talk this over, bring it back out for the second half. We're going to do the same. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. This is the Universe Point Productions broadcast. You're watching the Chicago Wildfire versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is also brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear guaranteed. BE Ultimate. Ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate. The most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. And of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats.
My first few years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working toward winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
So we're back with you live now, starting the second half of this game. AUDL Midwest Division rivalry between the Indianapolis AlleyCats and the Chicago Wildfire, two of the oldest teams in the league. AlleyCats with a 12-10 lead over the Wildfire. We're going to check out some of the stats here after the first half. We talked about Kirk Gibson quite a bit. He had 4 goals in that first half. Ross Barker also putting up good numbers for the Wildfire, 3 assists and 4 goals. And Pavel Yanis with 3 assists.
Well, you see there, between Gibson and Barker, they have 8 of the 10 goals.
Yeah.
So obviously, again, those two players making a huge impact right now. And I mean, you look over and just kind of, we got the stat sheet pulled up in front of us. You can see, again, very widespread with the AlleyCats. Keegan North, obviously, with 4 assists and 2 goals. But other than that, you have a total of 3, 4, 5, 7 players with an assist, and about the same, about 7 players that each having a goal and an assist, at least 1 for the AlleyCats.
Rick Gross leading the way with 3 goals in the scoring department. Cameron Brock with 2 assists and 2 goals. Balanced effort from him. A couple of highlight plays to go along with those. So now we're going to have the pull from, looks like the Wildfire are going to be pulling from left to right.
Looks like Pavianis there going out on the D line now. Him and Gibson, and it looks like maybe they're a lot of their O line on D line right now to start.
There's Barker out there. Wise as well, so we're going to see.
Looks like basically an O line D line for the Wildfire essentially.
Interesting start to the second half for the Wildfire. Going to try and get a quick break and cut that lead to 1. And here's Giannis with the big backhand. It's going to come down right in the middle to Samson. Gets it forward to Carpenter. Now Pavel Giannis on Samson. There's Keenan Plew. He finds Jacobs. Jacobs here on the near sideline. He's got a man, and that is Sohn on the other end, and he has it. Great play from Samson. Pavel Giannis unable to go up and get that disc. Sorry, Pavel Giannis. Choked on his name there a little bit. Samson with his second goal of the game, and that was a great run from him to catch that disc.
Yeah, I mean, you saw there, Jacobs, I think, saw about it for a second, but maybe just waited for a little bit better positioning from Samson there. And, again, AlleyCats taking advantage and going up 3 here.
Yeah, so that did not work out the way the Wildfire were hoping. So now the Wildfire, with the O-line still out on the field, going to take this disc from the AlleyCats, see if they can come back and cut that lead.
Again, there you see that initially pinning him back in the end zone, but then obviously with just the way this field is, being indoors and just the quick pull, the Wildfire able to then just very quickly already at midfield.
Here's Gibson. Looking for that forehand. Has to put one over the top. Good D by the AlleyCats, making them work for that. Here's Barker now. Barker's got an open throw across the field.
Good communication there with the Wildfire, making sure that catch the disc.
And I think that is Barker to Gibson again.
Oh, wow.
And those two doing all the work for the Chicago Wildfire. I'm sorry, I think that was Pavel Giannis with that throw. Gibson, though, gets his 5th goal of the game. Yeah, that was Giannis. That nice forehand into the end zone for Gibson. And Peter Carlton, who's been checking Gibson a lot tonight. That guy, he's been all over the field. Carlton having a long night tonight. So now the Wildfire cut the lead to 2. AlleyCats up 13-11 with 10:57 to go here in the third.
Well, I think it's been, honestly, maybe we're coming up on, I think, here in just a few minutes, almost a full quarter of really just no breaks really either way. just trading points back and forth offensively.
That pull from Grant Zakowski goes out of bounds. So Samson going to bring it to the brick. Wildfire with a chance to set their defense.
Let's take an easy throw there already. And North, and they have sort of the Wildfire, you couldn't really tell. The AlleyCats had an open player downfield, but the Wildfire were almost hiding a defender on the opposite side of the field, almost sort of wanting the AlleyCats to take that deep look, but it was just great recognition there. I think it was North that had the disc that really saw that, and or maybe North was making the cut. But anyways, the AlleyCats did a great job of just really seeing that and obviously taking the smart throw.
And as always, great recognition from our man Alex Hutton in the booth, former AlleyCats player, and that is on the ground. Levi Jacobs unable to come up with that throw. I think that was North who put that out there.
He's had those sort of cross-the-field blades about 3-4 times today, and they've all worked. So, I mean, I guess you just keep throwing them. But in that case, just really, I mean, it was on the sideline anyway. It was going to be a difficult catch regardless for Jacobs.
Now Trotter back the other way. He's a guy who traditionally had played on the O-line quite a bit for the Wildfire before Gibson arrived. Now playing on the D-line.
Wildfire sending a couple of players deep there. Not able to get in good enough position to make the throw.
Here's Jason Valley. Sends it to the far side to Newman. Newman gets one underneath on the backhand. Shea now looking for a man. He's got Brock on him.
That's something that
out there.
You're going to laser that. Like it's got to be right to the guy, and he's not going to be able to make it.
There's
AlleyCats go quick.
And he's got Brock for the score. We saw Brock running all the way across the field to get in the right position. Great recognition from him. Plu picks it up, and they get the quick score.
Yeah, I mean, you see the AlleyCats just do a great job putting pressure on the Wildfire. Didn't really give them any looks, and then you see, again, just great recognition there from both Plu and Brock. And again, something you call a lot. Keenan Plu throwing it to Cameron Brock.
I've said that many, many times in my career here with the AlleyCats. Keenan Plu gets his third assist of the game. Cameron Brock with his third goal. So now the forehand. I think that hit just on the line. Gibson sends it back to Myrie. Wise now on the far side. A little bit of a shaky throw. Barker now gets that forehand out, and he's got his man, and it's knocked away by Carlton. I'm sorry, that was Zebarth on the far side, knocking that away from Pavlianis. Now the AlleyCats looking for the break opportunity. Kalaba now with the disc, has to send it back. There's Schwartz looking down the field. He's got nothing. Back to Schwartz. AlleyCats D-line has to be patient with this disc.
Yeah, they're not really able to get any sort of open looks downfield right now. They're really struggling to really push it downfield. There's their first kind of key look there in the middle of the field, thrown to Craven,
and that was knocked away out of his hand, and that's going to be a whistle. The AlleyCats will retain possession. And there's a soft double team. And he has to dump it back.
Schwartz did a good job there, really going to the open side of the field.
Kalaba gets it down the field, caught by Zebarth. Great play to save that. Schwartz with the left-handed snag. I thought that was going on the ground. Now they bring it near side. This is Winger. Winger with the sharp forehand. He's got his man. That was amazing patience by the D-line to get that break. And they needed that. I don't know how many break opportunities they've had in this game. I know we saw one before, but they brought the O-line out with the timeout. So you see Winger here Excellent vision.
You could tell the whole AlleyCats sideline very excited about a play like that.
And that was Connor Henderson, number 14, who broke open in the end zone for that score.
All right, so that's, again, I think the first break that we've had here, really either way for maybe about a full quarter, I think, almost. And right now the AlleyCats really with a 4-point lead. We'll see if the Wildfire are able to sort of dig into that here the rest of this quarter.
So now the D-line, after a long point to get that break, bring it back out. That was a full sub line by the AlleyCats. Give those guys a break. And the Wildfire get it to midfield. And this is Newman, number 13. And he's got no one. He has to send it back to Trotter. Trotter going to get it. Weiss sends it forward to Barker. Barker looking in the end zone. He had Gibson. I'm not sure who he thought was going to get that. We saw Gibson breaking to the end zone, but he was in the middle of the field.
Again, there, nice job for, again, John Jones just to make sure he's there and really didn't leave it to chance. And so, again, one of those things where you got to give him a D for that one. I don't know if that's official or not, but I'll give him one here certainly.
Yeah, I wonder what he was thinking when he didn't see anyone around him.
And I think he was already about a couple feet out of bounds, but he's just like,
yeah.
All right, I'm just going to catch this and really just make sure we get the disc.
Yep, there's the other side. It's Carpenter. He's going to get it. He goes down and he has an amazing catch by Carpenter. I did not think he was going to catch up with that. And he is pumped.
Wow, we're seeing that happen live, and we're just kind of like holding our breath, just thinking to ourselves, okay, is he going to make this play or not? And I mean, that's just amazing job by our camera crew there.
You see the replay here. I had chills on this.
Oh,
look
my
at
gosh.
that perfect catch.
What a catch. You could tell he almost closed his eyes there at the last second as he's reaching out to catch that. I mean, that's wow.
He knew he was going to take a hit when he came down.
That's a point where all the work you put in before the season and at practice, where you're going to the gym, you're training, and those last few steps, and you're just like that's when you know you can make it. And then that's an incredible play there by Travis Carpenter.
Travis Carpenter giving the AlleyCats a 5-point lead, 16-11 now with 6:08 to go here in the third.
And that's a shout-out again to Spencer Loskar. He could have made it a lot easier, but then we wouldn't have had the highlight play, right?
Thank you, Spencer, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be like, hey, he could have had a much better throw. But then, of course, we wouldn't have had that.
Yeah, of course. He had that plan. Now the Wildfire bring it back the other way after that play from the AlleyCats. Trying to cut into this lead and some of this energy that the AlleyCats players have. Here's Newman with the backhand. He's got his man. There's Valley with the forehand. You can hear the Wildfire players on the sidelines yelling patience. And that does not work out for the Wildfire. That is Winger knocking that away. And Newman holding his hand. Looks like he might have gotten... Oh, he takes something off his wrist and throws it out of bounds. Here's Craven on the near sideline, takes a hit. Things
They're
getting
calling that out. He had maybe about had both feet down at the time of the catch. And they're calling him out. Yeah, they're calling him out of bounds.
Yep.
That was tough to tell.
I thought that was going to be a whistle on the
calling
push
it.
from the contact.
I think they're talking about it. Maybe the refs are trying to decide. I think maybe one saw something different, and so something interesting again. You see here, they're going to stop play, and they're going to really decide what the official call was either way.
Our cameraman J.C. Swartling zooming in. We can read some lips. Great work, as always, from J.C. on the camera. Thank you to him
I think they officially said out of bounds there, yes. Yeah, Wildfire are going to get the disc.
That is unfortunate for the AlleyCats. That point getting a little physical. Here's Miller back the other way for the Wildfire. Valley on the far side gets it to Woods. And Miller's got a man in the corner. That's going to be an easy catch. Number 20, Nick Zeman, with the score from Miller. So the Wildfire able to take advantage of that play out of bounds from the AlleyCats, cut that lead down to 4, and they needed that at that time.
Certainly. The AlleyCats, again, have built their lead up here, and the Wildfire have really not had a break on the AlleyCats for a while. I think that's something that's, again, very, very key right now. The AlleyCats offense is just letting the defense do their work, and whenever they get the chance, I think they had a nice little break here for a few minutes. The AlleyCats offense has been well rested so far this quarter, I think. So we'll see if they're able to just come out here and execute very quickly.
They're going to try and regain that momentum that they had after a couple of big plays. So that's Bill Klunder with the pull. There's the forehand to Brock, a little bit dangerous. He catches up with it, no problem. Has to send it back to Gross. Gross has North.
Almost able to poach in that lane and get it.
Squeaks it North over the top to Carpenter for the score. I did not think that was going to work.
Well, I mean, it was just, again, sometimes as a receiver, sometimes you can almost be surprised by it. You're like, oh, he's throwing this. And then, again, almost able to get the D there and just sets up that throw so well. I mean, you could see that's something that he's definitely done a lot. That's a throw he definitely has.
Something we've seen from North, he gets his 5th assist on that. And that was Carpenter with his 3rd goal of the game. And North is cold-blooded. He is cold-blooded.
Yeah,
he'll make any throw at any time.
He's definitely making all the different types of throws so far.
Yeah, he is not afraid to take risks. And that one works out perfectly as he spits that over the top for the goal. AlleyCats now up by 5. They get a high pull down.
AlleyCats there able to kind of set up their defense fairly quickly. Barker's sort of by himself out there in midfield. The Wildfire weren't able to kind of get the deep look there.
There's Gibson on the far side. Sends it to Giannis with the forehand now to Weiss. Weiss has Gibson in the end zone, and he just goes up and gets that. No problem. And that's what he does. That is vintage Kurt Gibson. We talked about vintage Cameron Brock earlier. That was vintage Kurt Gibson.
He gets really up for this one.
Yeah, Carlton not in bad position, but not able to go up and get that with Gibson, who now has his 6th goal of the game, and that's almost half of Chicago's output. That was Giannis getting his 4th assist. So the AlleyCats and the Wildfire now trading points. We have 3:23 to go here in the 3rd. And AlleyCats looking to maintain that 5-point spread going into the 4th. Now Keenan Plug gets it near side to North. North has no one. He needs help. Good find to Jacobs there in the middle.
Great inside look there from North to Jacobs.
Now Gross with it, has to dump it back to North, and it does not work. North cannot catch up with that.
It's really hard when with the 7-second stall count. Well, a lot of times you really don't have any time to communicate. You just kind of have to throw it and hope that the guy's in the right position.
Valley pops that disc underneath 2 players, finds his man in the end zone, and Wildfire with the break.
Yeah, that's I think their first break since maybe about, early 2nd quarter. It's been a while. Good pressure there. Almost a D, I think, there from Gross.
Yeah, you see
Almost
that
a block.
Just squeaks it underneath. The 2 players scissoring right around that disc, but unable to knock it away, and that cuts the lead to 3.
Yeah, I mean, about 8.5 minutes left. The AlleyCats in the third quarter here were still up 3. Have been trading for a while, and then over the next few minutes had gone up 5, and there were about 6 minutes left here in the third quarter. And then they kept trading points with the Wildfire until here now with 2:48 left. That's the Wildfire's first break in a while, and so obviously the AlleyCats keep up that pace. They will win this game, but let's see if certainly they're obviously going to try to increase the lead more and more.
Yeah, it seems like there's been a lull in the energy after those 2 big plays that they had earlier in this quarter. They have to keep themselves up, and sometimes that can be hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, the Wildfire just had a really well-timed double team on that last point, and sometimes that can just again make all the difference.
Yep. Here's North up over the top.
Had about 4 players almost around the disc there, which obviously is going to leave people open.
And there's the score that the AlleyCats needed. Nice and easy. They work it down the field. That was Keenan Plew finding Rick Gross in the end zone. Plew with his 4th assist, I believe. And Rick Gross with his 4th goal. You see great recognition from Plew here. Makes that easy throw.
Well, again, the Wildfire had about 4 people within maybe a few yards of the disc, which, you can have 2 people obviously double teaming. You can't certainly triple team. Not that they were, but again, what happened was the AlleyCats were able to then sort of float it across the field, and they had maybe 4 guys on that side of the field while the Wildfire had like 1. And so obviously that led to the goal there for the AlleyCats.
The Wildfire have been putting together some good defensive sequences, maybe a little bit of a miscue on that one. AlleyCats able to take advantage. And here's a pull that goes out of bounds through the back of the end zone. And this is Pavel. Janet's going to bring it to the brick, start this point. He's got Donovan Triplett on him for this play. Sends it to Gibson here on the near side. Jack Shea now looking for a man. Has to get it to Gibson. Good cut from Gibson. Gibson puts his hands up. And that is on the goal line.
It's barely.
Yeah, I thought he was going to let that float and get the score, but he does not. Now Gibson has to send it into the end zone, and he's got Barker. And I think they just wanted to set up another connection between those two. And Gibson gets his first assist. They turn that around the other way. And Barker, I believe, has his 5th goal. And he has 3 assists and 5 goals in this game. And he's really putting it on the AlleyCats, but they are still down by 3. AlleyCats up 18-15 with 1:34 to go here in the third.
Well, this is something to where, again, the AlleyCats, I think, just really particularly need to hold on this point, because I think the Wildfire get it at the start of the 4th quarter. Yep. So you can almost sort of use that as a break in terms of, if the Wildfire are able to score here in this last minute and a half and then get the first point going into the first point of the 4th quarter, could all of a sudden make something that looked like, a 4-5. The AlleyCats were up 5 at one point, and then all of a sudden could very quickly turn that into something to where now they're up 1.
Excellent point. Wildfire send this, and that fades.
That's almost a fan disc there. Almost went into the crowd.
That goes over into the construction area on the far side of the field.
I'm not sure how that works. If a disc goes into the stands to the fans, I'm not sure if they're allowed to keep it. I'm not sure how that works.
You can see those pylons up over there. This facility is being renovated or added to, I guess. The Colts are going to be using this in some capacity here in the near future. The Indianapolis Colts. Now Samson to Brock on the far side. Brock steps through, and we have a whistle. That was on Johansson. Making contact. Brock's going to walk it forward 10 yards. Not sure how they know what 10 yards is.
I think that there are very light dash, like the yard marks there in the middle of the field. I think that's maybe what they're using.
And that is North, who goes down and gets a great catch, has the hammer up over the top. Sohn gets it. He has a man up. And that is Keenan Blue with the score. I was going to say he had Jacobs in the corner of the end zone. I was surprised he did not make that throw, but somehow he saw Blue coming up behind him and gets the assist to Blue.
That throw there, that was very good use, again, of the indoor facility.
That's just great recognition.
North there, he's been doing that a lot today.
Yeah.
He really just thinks to himself, like, I can pretty much make any throw right now.
He goes down and gets that disc on the far side. And then makes a great hammer up over the top. Sam Sohn able to come up with it and get the assist for the score. I believe that is Sam Sohn's first assist of the game. He's a guy who's been doing a lot of work in the backfield for the AlleyCats. So now the AlleyCats coming from right to left. We have the forehand pull. It's going to come down to Giannis. Gets it to Gibson. Giannis has a man upfield. Barker looking behind him to see who's coming. And that is a great get from Giannis. Two AlleyCats there, unable to come up with the disc. Schwartz makes the jump on it. Can't get the D. Wildfire cut it again down to 19-16. AlleyCats with the lead here close to the end of the third quarter.
A lot of that, I'm not sure, if he saw, certainly it's kind of hard to see the back defender there, Craven, coming to help. But that's just kind of one of those things, again, where you just kind of trust your receiver to make a play, and he goes up and gets it.
Yeah, you saw Barker. He kind of took a peek behind him to see who was coming. I think he knew that was going to be there, that he was going to be facing two players. And he just times that perfectly. .38 seconds to go here in the third. Plu with it on the far side of the field. AlleyCats have not much time to work this all the way down the field. Like you said, the Wildfire are going to have this disc to start the fourth, so the AlleyCats really could use a score here. And they're going the wrong way so far. Under 20 seconds. Here's North, gets that backhand to midfield. Jacobs. Brock, he has North in the end zone. He waited on that, perfect timing.
Oh, wow.
North waits a little too long. I thought he was going to miss that.
Wow, but he's able to milk out the last few seconds of the quarter there, but very interesting.
Wow, a little bit risky there. He works that clock down to nothing. Almost missed that play. You can see him, could have grabbed it right there, does not, snatches it just in time before Alex Rummelhart is able to get there. Rummelhart looking up, checking to see if that was caught by North. And that was a solid, again, Keegan North is cold-blooded.
He's definitely having a really big impact on this game.
That was the third goal from Keegan North to go with 5 assists. Now let's take a look at the layout ultimate grip catch of the first half. We were going to do this in the first half, but we're going to do it in the second half now. You're going to see this replay. Keegan North, whose name we have been saying a lot tonight, gets that throw to Cameron. Cameron Brock, we talked about that play, goes up, vintage style from him to get that score. That was the layout ultimate grip catch of the first half. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. Layout Ultimate would like to give out a pair of gloves to a viewer. Tweet at universe_point using the hashtag Layout Ultimate and tell us why you want some gloves. We will pick a winner in the fourth quarter. So not much time for that contest. We apologize for not getting that put together in the first half. There's just so much going on in this game. So if you want those gloves, let us know. Tweet at universe_point using the hashtag Layout Ultimate, and we will hook you up. So that was Cameron Brock with that last assist to Keegan North to end that third quarter. And like we said, that was a very important point for the AlleyCats as they have to give up the disc to start the fourth now. They have that 20-16 lead, 4 points with 12 minutes to go now in this game. Looking to maintain that. Here's Hutton with a low pull. And the Wildfire going to get an opportunity to start moving down the field pretty quickly. This is Giannis. There's Gibson on the far side. It's fun to watch his body language. He's putting his arms up and occasionally looking exasperated with his teammates. Here's Wise now on the near side. And Barker now. He's got Hutton on him. And Barker wants that forehand to Gibson. Can't get it. They have to send it back to Giannis. Now near side, that's Miller. Miller has James Jones on him. I'm sorry, John Jones. Here's Giannis. And Giannis finds Gibson in the end zone. I'm not sure what happened with the AlleyCats D. There's a guy on his knees. So some kind of miscommunication or someone fell down or something. And they're discussing that with the referees. And the Wildfire able to take advantage.
It looks like their cleats just maybe got tangled up. I don't know. That's interesting.
You saw Kip Curtis go down, number 8 for the AlleyCats. Got tangled up. And Gibson gets his 7th goal of the game. He is the leading scorer for both teams now. So he is one of 5 players for the Wildfire to score tonight. The scoring distribution for the AlleyCats much broader. So here's a deep pull from the Wildfire now. Plu having to jump to get that. Sends it forward to Sohn. There's Carpenter. Gets it to Jacobs in the middle of the field. Jacobs with the forehand. He's got his man, Plu. There are 2 Wildfire players. They cannot come up with it. Plu does not have a lot of size, but great timing on that disc. Able to get it in the back of the end zone. The AlleyCats with a much-needed score bring that back to 4.
Definitely one that, again, he's able to just put it out there, and you saw number 20 there coming to help out, and just, again, able to catch it. Again, he ended up being the only one able to make a play, and that's just one of those throws where, Jacobs is, he's certainly maybe not putting a lot of thought into it, but he knows he can make the throw, and he's able just to float it out there, and it works.
Perfect placement from Jacobs. We haven't seen a lot of big shots from the AlleyCats down the field here in this second half, but that was a good one. So we're talking about, we talked about Gibson having 7 points or 7 goals in this game. We were talking about what the record number of goals for an AUDL game was. It was 22. From Jordan Huston for the Tampa Bay Cannons. That's ridiculous.
Wow.
The AlleyCats with only 21 points themselves here in the fourth quarter. There's a big shot down the field, and it is knocked away by number 14 for the AlleyCats. That's Connor Henderson going up and getting that D.
Wow.
Great effort. And that's going to give the AlleyCats another opportunity for a break. We see Carpenter on the D line now. He's going to set this up.
And that's something I think we saw a lot last year. Normally, again, he's out there, and he's the guy they trust the most. When the D-line gets a turn, he's the guy who's going to be their number 1 handler.
Yep.
And, of course, Wanger's not afraid to throw it downfield.
This is Not going to work out, though. Puts out a big forehand and is knocked away. And again, you'd like to see a little bit more patience from the D-line on these opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, again, he had some steps there, but, again, just floated a little too much.
Yeah, and it's going to come back the other way. Miller goes up and gets that. Carpenter makes the effort, can't come down with it, though.
He's not very far from it. He's just a few yards out there.
And this is Gibson with the disc back to Giannis. Giannis has his man in the end zone. That is number 19, Jack Shea, for the Wildfire with the score. Wildfire cut that lead down to 3 again, 21-18, and that was a big missed opportunity for the AlleyCats D-line. You see that replay, he gets that backhand underneath to Shea. Hand-me-down car, first used but new to you car, first actual new car. When things change, your insurance should too. Visit infarmbureau.com for a free quote or to find your local Indianapolis area agent. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, stop knocking on wood. And big thanks to Farm Bureau Insurance for coming through for us this year, allowing us to do these broadcasts again, along with the rest of our sponsors. They're the ones who make this happen here at Universe Point Productions. There's a roller on the ground on that pole. Now Brock with it at midfield on the far side has a forehand to Jacobs. Jacobs looks downfield. He's got now Plew with it. See Brock as the primary handler on this point, and that works out perfectly as Gross gets his score on the far side of the field. I believe that is his 5th goal of the game. Brock with 3 assists. I'm sorry, that was Sam Sohn with the assist. Great forehand from him to Gross there in the end zone. Sam with his 2nd assist to go with 2 goals in this game. So the AlleyCats once again up by 4, and they are maintaining that lead. About 3 minutes gone here in the 4th, and they have not lost that 4-point lead. So this is Nick Hutton now going to make this pull. Going to send that low to the far side, and that's Giannis who goes to get it. Gets it forward to Gibson. Miller at midfield. He's going to look for Gibson. Gibson almost puts that on the ground. We have a push from Gross. I think that was inadvertent, but they're going to give him a whistle. I'm sorry, that was Carlton. Now he gets that easily to Barker. Barker gets that cut from Giannis, and they have the score. And Giannis, usually on the other end of those plays, gets the point. And Chicago cuts that back to 3 with 8 minutes to go here in the 3rd.
Something we can't really certainly look into, but it'd be interesting to see the percentage of touches that those 3 have had: Barker, Giannis, and Gibson. Giannis, obviously someone who's really always up there in the league leaders in terms of completion percentage, assists also. And certainly you can see him touching the disc a lot today for the Wildfire.
That was his first goal of the game, to go with 7 assists on the night. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, those guys have been doing the yeoman's work tonight. He has 7 assists and 1 goal. Ross Barker with 4 assists and 6 goals. And Kurt Gibson with 1 assist and 7 goals. So those are the 3 names we've been saying the most for the Wildfire. Now back the other way, AlleyCats. This is Plew. Has to dump it. Brock gets it to Jacobs on the far side. Jacobs in midfield. Has that forehand down to Gross, and Gross gets it in the end zone, takes the contact, and gets the score. Gross with his second goal in a row. And that was a great throw from Jacobs. That's the second big forehand we've seen down the field from him.
Well, again, definitely something you can see the amount of just a huge impact that he can have on the game, even with things really being spread out. And this certainly has something to do with the AlleyCats being up 4. But Gross having his 5th goal now, which just again, obviously Barker and Gibson are the 2 leading goal scorers for the game. But with someone who can still have 5 goals, and in something that is certainly spread out for the AlleyCats, you can definitely see Rick Gross's impact on this team.
Yeah, and that throw from Jacobs was almost an exact replay of that goal he had, or that assist that he had just a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Almost in the exact same place in the end zone.
It's just his accuracy is just, I think, really incredible on those throws, and just to where, I mean, Gross certainly had separation, I think, when they're throwing up, but just for him to be the only one that could make that catch, really just a really good throw from Levi Jacobs.
So now Miller for the Wildfire at midfield. Gets it to Barker, and there's a takeaway from Schwartz. I'm not sure if they're going to, they make a call on that. I don't know. We're pretty far away from that, but they say that Schwartz stripped him. Well, they give him the foul, and he steps forward 10 yards. Or we assume it's 10 yards. Now Giannis on the other side. That was a great effort from Schwartz. But it's called for the foul now, Gibson. And he gets the score. I believe that's Miller in the end zone with the assist from Gibson. And again, that's I don't want to call that a missed opportunity because it was a great effort from Schwartz and it just didn't work out. But it seems like the AlleyCats need to get something like that to work here in order to break this game open. As the Wildfire just staying right with us. Down by 3, 23-20 with about 6:40 to go.
Well, again, the AlleyCats offense has definitely been very patient with the disc. I mean, just they're taking great care of the disc is really what I want to get at. And just obviously the Wildfire, I think, have had one break maybe this half. Really one break in the last, I think, almost about 3 quarters total, maybe 1 or 2. And obviously the AlleyCats offense has really just been able to hold most of this game. Their throws definitely looking really sharp for the most part, honestly, today. So I think that's really been the key, one of the biggest keys, I think, in terms of why they are ahead by 3 goals.
Yeah, we talked about how it was going to be difficult for the D-lines to get those breaks in this game. We saw quite a few of them in the first half, but here in the second half, it's been the offensive lines that have been in control. Here's Brock, gets it to North. North with that backhand cutting in. That's Gross going to go up and get that. Oh, what an amazing play from Gross. Goes up over the top of Weiss. Weiss giving him the high five.
Yeah, really good sportsmanship there from Gross afterwards, though. He's definitely a really great player, but I think it's also nice to see, again, obviously incredible play here. Gross getting up for it. But again, I think it's really nice to see afterwards. He gets pretty pumped up, but really good sportsmanship there.
Yeah, you can see Weiss with the smile on his face after that play. Yeah. He knows that great players make great plays sometimes. And he was in the right position. Not much he could do about that.
All right, but Gross secretly, now he's got his 6th goal. Gibson has 7 for the Wildfire.
So we had that layout ultimate contest. You can tweet at universe_point using the hashtag layoutultimate and tell us why you want some gloves. Not much time left in that contest. If you were watching, send us that tweet and we will give you some free gloves. Who doesn't want that? Here's Gibson, gets that forehand.
Nick Hutton did a great job there shutting down the deep look there to Barker. Now something that I think you could see, but definitely something that great job of positioning himself. Now a couple people downfield to help. AlleyCats really not allowing that deep shot there from the Wildfire. But, of course, then the Wildfire are able to sort of patiently work it up with the undercuts.
Yep. They have to dump it back to midfield. Gibson gets that forehand forward again. And there's Hutton with that layout, unable to get it. Gibson.
Oh, out of bounds.
Out of bounds. I could not see where that disc was. I was wondering why he wasn't going to go get that, but it was far out of bounds. So the AlleyCats, we talked a little bit earlier about them needing an opportunity. This is it. So we'll see what this D-line does.
Yep, clock is still continuing to run, and so it's something that AlleyCats now could potentially go up. I'm not sure if that was before the whistle.
That was a perfect throw from Cox, and is that going to count? The
I
sideline's
think it will.
looking like it does, and it does count.
I think it's very interesting conversation. I'm not sure if that throw went up. I think that throw is very interesting. I don't know. I don't know if it went up before the whistle or not.
And they give it to him. 25-20 now is the score with 5:14 to go. That was Kip Curtis who got that disc. He was the only one moving on that play. So he kept the effort in it even after that whistle, and it paid off. We saw Cox with that long throw down the field. That is his first assist of the game. Kip Curtis gets his first goal of the game, and that's an easy one.
It was one of those things I really couldn't hear. I couldn't tell. I think it was one of those things where it looked like maybe I was just kind of trying to pay attention to the explanation. I think it was just one of those things where maybe it was so close that the refs really couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And so one of those things where regardless, I think if you're a defensive player, you can't really quit on it. And I think he was really – there was a lot of separation for Curtis there anyway.
Yeah.
But just is definitely something to where, I don't know, just it's called a goal and you move on. Really, that's the best thing you can say.
I'm sure the AlleyCats will take it with no complaints. Now this pull going out of bounds. Kind of a surprising number of pulls going out of bounds for there being no wind.
Yeah, sometimes that can be almost planned just because you want to set up a certain defense. But, yeah, I can't imagine it being planned this many times.
So now Giannis sends it to the far side. He wants that forehand across the field. AlleyCats with good defensive set so far. Giannis again with the disc. Here's Gibson. And there's a great play from that's Curtis again. Gets that D. You saw that coming. It's going to be picked up now by Connor Henderson. And the AlleyCats with another break opportunity. And this could be huge. And Henderson sends it back, and it is knocked away by Curtis. I thought that either Craven or Calabo would be able to catch up with that maybe, but unable to do so. So now the Wildfire going to try and pick this point up after a missed opportunity on the break there by the AlleyCats. There's the hammer over the top from Gibson. He's got his man. It is knocked away on a great play.
Wow.
And that's Schwartz. I don't even know if he could see that disc coming. I think he just
Calaba certainly was there, and he kind of just went up without really looking at the disc and didn't make contact. Otherwise, I think that would have been a foul. But then Schwartz, I think sort of at the last second, was able to kind of turn around and get an eye on the disc and was able to hit it away.
It looked like he might have timed that based on the Wildfire player's jump. Either way, they get the D, and they have the disc back with another opportunity for a break.
Let's see here. So
Timeout.
Schwartz, you can tell he's able to get the eye on the disc, and at the last second, I don't know.
I don't think he looked at that. I think that was a great defensive play, amazing recognition from him.
He took a quick look at it, but then at the last second, almost just kind of went up, and that's one of those things where if you're not looking at the disc, really any sort of contact is going to be a foul.
Yeah.
But he's able, I think, to just maybe he was lucky, but he was able to reach up and hit it away. And obviously then that led to the AlleyCats calling timeout here and really just trying to reset and get a good look and try to maybe put this game away with about 3.5 minutes left.
DiscStore.com is a proud supporter and sponsor of this broadcast. Pick up your next disc from DiscStore.com. DiscStore.com provides the best prices on team jerseys guaranteed. Ask about the AUDL discount at DiscStore.com. So now the AlleyCats get their O-line on the field, try and get this break done. Put themselves up by 6 with 3:34 to go. And Gross having to make a great play to get that disc.
You could tell he was a little excited after that catch. There was a little bit of contact in the air, but he was able to sort of, take a deep breath and make a good choice.
Yeah, he took a blow there, came down with it, and made a nice play to keep that play going.
Wildfire really playing loose here, I think trying to force the AlleyCats into just a bad decision. And, of course, there you go.
That was North with a hammer over the top. Jacobs not able to catch that disc.
Well, at this point, the Wildfire obviously know they can't take a whole lot of time, and so they were very, very loose with their pressure, not playing man, really trying to just create a scenario where the AlleyCats had to do something like that, or at least would want to. And now, obviously, you can see that Wildfire with a chance to get themselves into position to maybe try to make a run here at the end.
Gross goes for that D, could not get it, and there's the score from the Wildfire. And that was a big turnaround for them to cut that lead to 4. And with a 6-point lead, the AlleyCats might have been able to put this game away, but the Wildfire keep themselves in it. That was number 37, Drew Leverson. Gets that goal, number 22. Arcabar Rodrigo, one of our alternates for the Wildfire tonight, comes in with that goal, and that was a big one.
Well, again, obviously, I can really expect the Wildfire to probably come out here, be a little loose, maybe play some zone, and I think we'll see definitely something to where if the AlleyCats can just maybe be patient with it. The Wildfire are really going to try to pressure the AlleyCats into some quick turnovers, some bad decisions.
I went a little bit dyslexic on that name. That was Rodrigo Arcabar with that score. Apologies to him and his family. This is Keenan Plew now. Puts it out there for Carpenter. AlleyCats have to keep this settled down. They cannot afford another break, and we're getting a stall count. I don't know how that was in 7 seconds.
That seemed like he had that disc for about 10 seconds there.
Wildfire on the sidelines. The players wondering the same thing. And here's Brock. Gets it back to North. North with the forehand. He's got Plew in the end zone. Plew goes and gets it and gets the score. Great throw from North. That was huge. They needed that. And again, the cold-blooded North comes down with the throw. And it's Keenan Plew, the veteran, going out to get that. That was his 3rd goal of the game, I believe. North with his 8th assist.
I mean, it's something where I think he's not taking very many shots downfield, but definitely something to where he just waits for the right opportunity and takes it and has been able to execute pretty much every time.
So now the AlleyCats, again with the 5-point lead, 26-21. And some furious action here with 2 minutes to go in this game. And like you said, the Wildfire playing very loose on defense, knowing that they have to get this disc back. The AlleyCats just need to make them work for it on offense and stay patient when they have the disc. Here's Giannis on the near side, right beneath us. Now Gibson. Again with that body language. Expecting someone to be there. He gets it back from Miller. Miller makes a nice cut to set that up across the field. And he's got a forehand to Barker. Barker goes up and gets that. Hutton unable to reach it. And Barker, again, putting up those numbers, but those numbers aren't going to be enough with 1:23 to go here, still down by 4. That was Ross Barker's 7th goal. So he ties Kurt Gibson for the lead in goals for the Wildfire. Rick Gross has 6 for the AlleyCats. So 1:23 to go here in the fourth. I'm a little gassed myself.
A little bit more fast-paced here again lately. We're up to 26 goals now for the AlleyCats. Wildfire. They used a little bit of time there on that clock. I think maybe about 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, the pace in this fourth quarter, I think, is a little bit more what we were expecting to see in this indoor stadium. There's a low throw.
That's the intentional pull there out of bounds to try to get the AlleyCats in a double team. But, of course, Plu's able to hustle to the disc there. Looks like the AlleyCats really just trying to be very patient and just work the clock here. They're really fine with just throwing it back and forth here.
Yep, Carpenter now. Here's North.
AlleyCats not super concerned with maybe having to throw it upfield. But now, obviously, you take a nice, easy look there.
Gross back over to the top to Carpenter.
And now, with really no one on that side of the field, they can, they kind of work it over. But decide to, again, take some open throws here.
Yeah, they're just playing keep away now with under 40 seconds to go here in the game. And a comfortable 4-point lead. Now Carpenter with the forehand gets it out to North. North going to look in the end zone. Doesn't really need to. Sends it back to Brock. Plenty of room now to make these dumps. Here's Gross back over the top. And the Wildfire, I think, know that the writing is on the wall. The AlleyCats going to get their 7th win of the season to go with one loss. And that was a big win.
Yeah, again, coming into the season, the AlleyCats and Chicago Wildfire were definitely two teams that, maybe a lot of people were thought sort of evenly matched in terms of, expectations and certainly talent level. But now the AlleyCats able to go up 2-0 in the season. I believe they play one more time later in the season. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, and this is the second time that they've played this season. In the first game, Kurt Gibson was not available for the Wildfire. He plays tonight, though, and gets those 7 goals. So we kind of wondered how that was going to go as a turnaround for the Wildfire, whether they would be able to put more pressure on the AlleyCats. And about the same result. I think the AlleyCats won by 4 or 5 in the first game. They do the same here at home tonight, 26-22. The over-under on scoring was below 50. So I'm a little bit surprised by that, to be honest. But a big win for the AlleyCats. They stayed patient when they needed to. They took advantage of breaks when they had to.
Yeah.
And had some big plays. That second quarter with all those turnovers, I think really was the thing that sort of set the tone going into that second half. And the AlleyCats, they went into after the first half, they were up by 2, and they end the game up by 4. So both halves they win by 2. And big win for the AlleyCats in those new uniforms.
Yeah, and definitely the AlleyCats know, they're very much aware that the second half of their schedule is going to be certainly a little bit more difficult than the first half. They're 7-1. I think at this point,
maybe
are a few wins away from securing a playoff spot really already.
Yeah.
But they know they're going to have to play up with Minnesota, and they're going to have to play up with Madison, and those are the two teams they're definitely eyeing right now in terms of you can definitely tell everyone's buying in. A lot of people contributing today, but I think the offense just really executing was maybe the biggest difference of all. Really not too many turnovers from the AlleyCats offense. And again, I think you see sort of a consistent 7 or 8 players or so playing on the AlleyCats offense, and that's definitely making a difference for them. And they know certainly that the rest of the season they have their work cut out for them, even though they've certainly already proven a lot, being 7-1 now and really just continuing to execute. But we'll see if really just having their players buy in, come into practice, showing up, I think we'll see really how that plays out the rest of the year. But again, at this point, the AlleyCats definitely a very impressive team and definitely someone that can make something of themselves and really prove a lot.
The leaders for the AlleyCats tonight, Keenan Plu with 4 assists and 3 goals. Rick Gross with 2 assists and 6 goals. Cameron Brock with 3 and 3. And Keegan North with 8 assists and 3 goals. Big game from him. The winner of the Layout Ultimate Gloves tonight is Nolan from Indianapolis. Congratulations and enjoy the Layout Gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. We're going to close this down tonight. Big thanks to you, Alex, for coming in with me tonight.
It's very exciting. Always great to be here.
Our man Heath, the producer for Universe Point Productions. Our cameraman JC Swartling. Now let's, I think we're going to take a look at our BE Ultimate Better Than Ever play of the game. That's going to be Spencer Loscar to Travis Carpenter. Let's see if we can set this up here. Our man Heath furiously working over there. There it is. Yeah, this play. Who could forget that? Travis Carpenter going down to get it.
You can just tell he's at the end. He's closing his eyes and just reaching out.
Yeah.
And he's just all of a sudden, he's like, takes a split second to realize, okay, I'm not hurt. And then he's like, oh, man, I really caught this. And then he gets super pumped up about it.
I don't know what's under this field, but it probably is pretty hard. Risking all those rug burns to get that disc. And that was our BE Ultimate Better Than Ever play of the game. BE Ultimate, putting a different spin on Ultimate apparel by focusing on high-performance fabrics, quality workmanship, and rapid turnaround time. They are Ultimate players making Ultimate gear for the Ultimate community. Visit their website at beultimate.com. So that's going to do it for us here at Universe Point Productions. Big thanks to Farm Bureau Insurance, as always, for sponsoring us and the rest of our sponsors as well. Our next broadcast will be next Sunday, June 17th, as the Madison Radicals come to town. We have all the action right here on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. I'm sorry, that is not next Sunday. That is a month away almost, June 17th, the Madison Radicals, and that's a team that the AlleyCats have never beaten. So they're going to be looking to get a win there and improve their record as they hunt the playoffs down. Thank you. I am Bird Phillips once again from the booth, and we will see you as soon as we can. Good night.